Hey, what's up, everybody? This is D Rhodes.
And this is Erica Dawn Rhodes.
And we are the APX.
And you're listening to Day One Radio
on ABL Radio.
The business.
Welcome back to another episode, another installment of Day One Radio, right here on ABLradio.com. That's Art, Beats, and Lyrics Radio to be exact. Make sure you download the very free, very accessible smartphone app for your iPhone and Android devices. And B, tell them where they can hear the entire Day One Radio catalog.
You can always find us on day1radio.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, anywhere you can find good quality podcasts. Google Play. If you're not an iPhone person, we over there too. So what's good, brother? How you doing, man? How's your week been going?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is Tuesday. So it's going fast, even though it just started. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at.
Shit, tell me about it, bro. Yeah. It's all been a blur. It's all been a blur. So you know. If you're an avid listener to the show, you know that we like to introduce you guys to new things and things that we like. And we discovered this band on Instagram, on social media, how a lot of people discover music nowadays. And they're out of Atlanta, a husband and wife that make music together. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah, I can't think of the last. What maybe Kendrick
is the last one I know of.
Kendrick actually they just followed us, you know, which was big. It was big for me because I grew up on Kendrick, you know. And
that's what's up.
Man,
that's what. Well, who is us? We ain't introduced you yet. Right. So we got the APX in the building. How y'all doing?
Good.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have y'all.
It's a beautiful Tuesday.
No doubt. Yes, it is. Well, it'll be Thursday when they hear, but you know, right. It's all good. So let's start it off. I mean, we were talking, you know, off the air, but individually, you know, how did you guys get into music and making music?
Well, I started when I was maybe 2.
Oh, wow.
Because anytime they would put anything on the radio, they said I would sing on key, hum on key, or whatever it was, and you know, bob on beat. So I looked like an Indian as a child, so they called me Papoose Rock. Hilarious. And so from then, it was just me and my dad. He had a wide collection, and my mom had a wide collection of vinyl, and I used to listen to them sing duets together all of the time. And next thing I know, they had me doing it in church. My grandfather was a pastor, and from there, I mean, ever since I could remember, I was singing. And
and where are you from? Atlanta originally?
I'm originally from Detroit.
From Detroit, okay. Mm-hmm. What up, though?
What up, though?
Yeah, I'm pretty much from here, Atlanta. I mean, I was born in New York, but I've been here since I was a kid. And it's funny, she says 2 years old. I started playing keys at 2 years old too. You know, same story. My parents never really bought me toys. They just kind of, you know, nurtured my talent from an early age. And you know, I grew up on a lot of smooth jazz, a lot of straight ahead jazz, and that's kind of where my musical background came from. You know, I was listening to cats like Gerald Albright and Pieces of a Dream growing up. I was listening to a lot of, you know, just a lot of smooth jazz. Dave Grusin, Dave Benoit. These were the people that I was listening to on piano. These are who I studied on piano. And you know, as I grew up, I started taking an interest in production, working for people for you know, when I was 15, I started working on the Jagged Edge.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I started working on their studio and
out in Decatur.
Yeah, out in Decatur, Snap Finger.
Yeah, that studio was like right around the corner from the house I grew up in.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was in there for a little bit. I was in there for a little bit too. My parents pulled me out. They was like, we don't want you around none of that smoke. Too much smoke going on. And I was like, I was so mad.
You're devastated.
I was devastated because I met so many people in there. I got so much experience just in that world, and that's kind of what made me fall in love with the whole aspect of just creating. Even though I had been creating for a minute, but it's just that kind of took me to a whole nother level of creating music. And that's just kind of where, just to kind of give you a brief background on my history as far as what I do.
And obviously you mentioned piano. You also play saxophone too, right, dude?
Yeah, I play sax. Sax. So I started playing sax when I was 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I taught myself that, and I had Mike Phillips, who plays for he's played for Prince and
Jill Scott too, right?
Yeah, Jill Scott. Well, they was on the same label, Hidden Beach.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mike Phillips mentored me for about 2 years.
Dope.
When I was a kid, and that really kind of helped propel my whole saxophone thing. And he actually ended up giving me the saxophone that he recorded his old second album with.
Oh wow.
And that really, it's like, because as a kid you need that type of stuff to really motivate you, and I was just really blessed to have that. I was really blessed to have those inspirations to really kind of keep going and know that music was a path. Like, you can make a career out of music, and that's basically
it's interesting that you say that. A friend of the show and one of my close homeboys, Terrace Martin, we'll chop it up and he'll be like, if it's a kid that's really interested in playing, like, I'll buy him a horn or I'll do whatever, because you don't really see that anymore. You don't have band programs in schools that much anymore.
They took the music out,
so it takes that to keep it going.
You have to really go out the way to show kids that there is another like side to this whole thing, that because a lot of kids are going to gravitate towards music, but not a lot of kids are going to gravitate towards instruments as easily. They'll probably gravitate to a rapper or a singer more than they'll gravitate to an instrument. Whereas with you got an instrument, you got like a whole nother career ahead of you. Even if you don't become an artist, you can be a producer, this and that and the other. There's like so many careers that you can do. Right.
I don't remember who it was that said it, but I thought this was an excellent point. And I'm not knocking anybody because we all grew up on hip hop, but you have a ton of music out here now that is played by people who do not play any instrument whatsoever. And that, I think, is a lot of the reason why some of the quality is not there. Because if you don't really understand frequencies, you don't understand music, you never even tried to play keys or tried to do anything. It's all digital.
It's all digital. But I think like that's what we was talking about earlier is how we're kind of mixing two worlds, the world of soul and the world of electronic music, because a lot, conversations that I'm finding when I talk to DJs that's in the DJ world, or that's in the like the house community or the EDM community, a lot of them just haven't been exposed to a lot of the stuff that they could be exposed to, by hanging out with a real musician or hanging out with this person.
It's different.
So it's a lot of things that you won't know if you're not exposed to it, and it's just like really important that I guess we just try to just kind of reach out to different influencers and let them know, like, okay, have you heard about this? Okay, we can probably try to mix this with that so that your listeners can hear this, and maybe they might take a whole new approach to jazz that they never had.
It's so much.
That's really how hip hop started.
It's weird. Like when I meet people or I encounter people on social media that are black or whatever that are into music and they're supposed to be cool and they've never heard of Kamasi Washington, I just look at them like, what's wrong with you? Like,
it's so weird because my parents really, really instilled and drilled in me like so many groups that were black that had instruments, and it was like by the droves. You had Atlantic Star, Midnight Star,
The Jets.
You know,
people don't even remember the Jets.
Yeah,
like the Jets were huge for like 2 or 3 years.
Man, but it was
still
so
listen to
many.
the Jets every week. It's crazy, man. It's so much history and so much culture in our music. You know,
there was just like a point in time where it was so much of that, and it was so cool, and then it just like disappeared.
Yeah.
And so we want to just kind of like reintroduce it, because I think the other side of things, like I think the, you know, Caucasian side, they know, and they've taken it and they ran with it, and we've just been kind of,
we take it for granted.
We have.
Do you think music though is kind of like looked at the same way black folks look at baseball? Because they say, you know, folks pick up a football, basketball for a baseball because it costs money to play baseball. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the cleats, gotta get the bat, gotta get the glove, gotta get the ball, gotta find the field. Like, do you see any likeness to like music? Because I mean, music is not always a cheap, free, or inexpensive. You know what I'm saying?
It's
thing to
cheap.
get into.
But they'll spend money on, you know, a Gucci or some gym shoes or, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
she
you're
from
really
Detroit. She said gym shoes.
you know what I'm saying?
For real.
Right. So it's like, you know, the passion of it, like, you know, is not there because I think the exposure is not there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's something that needs to, you know, be back. It would be nice to have some diversity out there.
I agree, but take it even deeper. Like, it's arguably cheaper now to make music than it's ever been, but it's not cheap to have live instrumentation on that music. So I think that's kind of where the disconnect is, because me and you can sit down and make an album tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
It might not sound that great, but and we can make it for nothing.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But literally, like, you could start learning, like, by ear. You could go to a pawn shop, get a guitar for like under $100. You know, you could get used to, like, people aren't thinking about, like, my friends are always laughing at me because I'm like, I got this and it's used, it's refurbished. Like, I'm the queen of that, because it's kind of like, why spend all of this money on stuff? You know, it's the same thing with music. Like, if you really think about it and you really want to do it, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
You can really make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that a lot of the white musicians that we've encountered or that we've just kind of did some research on just out of curiosity, a lot of them even build their own stage. Like, they build their own stage setups. They build their own instruments. They'll like look it up and figure out how to do it, and they'll market themselves. They'll market, like, they don't have like, a lot of them when they start out, they don't have the management. They don't have a team. You know, some of, you know, of course a lot of them do, but, you know, there's a lot of, you know, indie rock bands or indie, you know, electronic cats out there,
and that's the fun part about it, when you start getting creative on, how can I do this, how can I make this happen.
Exactly.
You know, that's what makes it fun, and that's what forces you to be different, because really we were broke when we got married. We didn't even have a place.
So how did y'all meet? First of all, how did you two meet?
Facebook,
man.
Slid into DM.
We're the product. We're a product of the DM. I say that all the time. We are a product of the DM. Yeah, Facebook. And actually, I first discovered her pictures on Instagram, and then I hit her up on Facebook.
You sound like you was lightweight stalking her.
Yeah,
he was.
But it worked.
Like,
we were gonna meet anyway, though. I mean, God already had it set up. I mean, we literally. I was in Virginia taking a break from this band I was with. It was a private event band, and it toured heavily. And I just took a break. My dad was sick, and I went to Virginia to get my mind right and spend time with him. In Detroit, you know, go back and forth. And my sister was in Virginia, but I had time to clear my mind, and I started pushing myself because I was I did rock for a long time, and I had an all black rock band.
Oh, that's
and so I was on Facebook, you know, just networking, and I just told him, like, he hit me up, and he was asking me all this stuff, and I actually looked him up and became a fan because he was already on some other stuff, like, as a jazz artist. I mean, he had these elaborate videos, and, like, he was playing all these different instruments, and he hip hop implemented in it, and he had like some really cool stuff. So I was like, who is this dude? And
this was around the time Robert Glasper Black Radio.
Gotcha.
Came
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, that project really inspired me to kind of do something on my own on that level.
Oh, okay, because I never seen anything like that. So
yeah.
But anyways, I was intrigued, but I didn't think anything of when we were going back and forth. But he just asked me, when are you coming back to Atlanta? I said, well, I'm doing Centennial Park, and he said, well, I'm doing sound for Centennial Park that date that you're doing the show.
Okay.
So then I went back to Virginia, and he said, and because we kind of vibed, and he had like a big night at acoustics that all the who's who of Atlanta would come out to and everything, and I thought it was cool. He was jamming with the vocoder coder and all of that, and so I said, wow, that's cool. I went back to Virginia. I still had my mind on my career or whatever, and then he said, well, when are you coming back? And I said, I'm subbing for this band called Celebrity All Stars, and he said, I'm playing keys on that.
Oh wow!
So after and then the third time was I sang somewhere and a lady planned an interview at B100.
B100, yep, radio.
And they scheduled us at the same time.
So it was meant to
be. So if that was not God,
it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yeah.
That's what's up,
three
man.
different occasions.
Yeah.
That's what's up. How long have y'all been married?
3 years.
3 years, okay. So is it what are the pros and cons of being in a band with somebody that you are married to?
Okay, well let me tell
Other than no groupie love, what are the pros and cons?
I mean Daniel.
Hilarious.
The D stands for Daniel.
You see how he stuttered? But look,
because everybody knows me by D Rose, and she calls me Daniel all the time, and it throws people off.
Yeah,
no, it's D Rose. So that's what the D stands for.
Okay. They came here for Ike, huh? Nah, but look, but he's a perfectionist, and he's very emotional. And not that I'm not a perfectionist, but like he takes it. I'm new playing. He has me playing guitar, drums, finger drumming, and I'm trying to sing on beat. Okay, I've been doing this, for a few years now. He's been doing this since he's 2.
Right.
So we'll have limited time trying to get something together, and he'll be like, he just gets frustrated, and I'm like, dude, I am still not on your level, so that I think that's kind of like the drawback, because we'll go at it, because I'm like Tina at the end of the movie. You remember in the white suit when she died? Yeah. So that could be a drawback sometime, but we've been getting better with that.
Getting better.
But other than that, it is like unfair. Like we have a ball like all the time,
I mean, even looking at the videos you guys post, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun.
It's fun. It's especially fun because it's like the journey of trying to create something as artists that really, I mean, the genre has been somewhat done before, but the way that we're doing it hasn't been done. So it's like when we're trying to figure stuff out like that, and we're at home and we're just like, okay, why don't you do this on a beat machine, and then I'm gonna do this on sax, and then I'm gonna live loop that, and then you sing on top of it. When we're trying to figure stuff out like that, that's when it just really becomes fun. And it's like when you realize, okay, after we done with this, we about to go sit down on the couch, have some popcorn, and watch Power.
That's our reward.
And that's like, day by day, this is what it is, because we're just blessed to do this for full time, and we don't have any, we don't have a day job. It's just fun,
Do y'all have? I know, like sometimes people will be in groups together, and some people like to record in the morning, and some like to record late at night.
Yeah.
Do y'all have the same kind of recording creative juice schedule?
Lately, we've been having to just get it in. Like literally, we don't have a musician schedule right now. We're getting up at like 8, 9 in the morning and not going to bed till 2, because we literally have so many collaborations and deadlines, and I still have to practice. He still has to practice, and it's a lot going on.
Try to hit the gym at the same time.
Eat right.
Try to stay healthy.
Cook, all of that, clean still. Yeah, do the grass.
Now, how do y'all come up with your ideas for songs? Like, is it a thing where somebody goes like and starts on something without telling the other, and you come to them like, "Hey, man, I got this idea. What you think?" Or is it a thing where y'all collab all the time?
Yes, it's a collab. Because like every now and then she'll probably be listening to Pandora. She'll maybe she'll like pop in some 80s stuff and listen to some stuff, and then she was like, okay, I want to put a twist to this right here and do something like that. And then other times I'll just be working on stuff just randomly in the studio, and I'll call her in and I'll be like, hey babe, what you think about this? She was like, yeah, that's cool. Well, why don't we make the bass line like this? And that's pretty much where it goes from there.
Yeah, we're constantly vibing, like constantly in the car, around the house. We're always. I mean, it's funny because some people are like, "How do you have time to watch TV or listen to music or whatever?" But that's pretty much everything. All of the stimuli that we have, we grab from like all of the time. Be like, you know what? I wonder if we do this or that. So our minds are constantly going. Even when we're working in the office or whatever, we'll stop and be like, oh my God. Okay, we need to lay this idea down. I want to do this or that, So it's a constant process, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
That's dope. How did y'all come up with the name for the group?
So the APX is it's like the alter ego project of our cover band that we started at the same time. Well, actually, no.
We didn't start it.
We started a cover band like around. That's what we actually started when we got married, and then the APX kind of
grew from that. Basically, what had happened is that when I saw, like, I was in the cover band side for a long time, and I saw how much money that you could make on it, but I thought it was super corny, to be honest. So I noticed that, like, everybody that gets married is not going to want a corny cover band. Right. So I said, well, what kind of band will I want? So we started kind of like, we had a DJ. So we have a DJ that's with our cover band. So basically the band plays over the DJ, and we go from song to song like a club in Vegas or something like that. So basically we do like a lot of 80s and new wave and just cool out of the box stuff that people don't think about, doing as a cover band. So from there, we ended up getting ideas for the original band. Basically, it inspired an original band, kind of like with the 80s feel. And from us just being fans again of, bands that were trying to bring that back, like Chromeo and, different duo electric bands, we just decided we could do this, and when we started getting familiar with all of the old stuff again that was cool back in the day, we were like, well, we want to do some stuff like this, and bring it back. And so that's what really inspired it. So the cover band's name is the After Party Experience, and then we just flipped it to the APX.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Now there's a lot of white folk out there making music that's playing on the 80s and all of that stuff, and their audience is a lot of us and also a lot of white folks, a lot of younger people.
Hell, we've had some of them white folks on this show.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So for you guys,
just had Jake One.
Yeah, exactly. For you guys, like, A, what is your audience like from the shows that you've done, and B, do you guys think that this is something that we will accept from us, to where it's not like, oh, that's so cool, look at this guy, you know what I mean? So both of those, answer those, please.
I definitely think we're finding that our audience is pretty much everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. Like, from when we just did our release party at the City Winery, and literally it was women in their 60s, 50s, 40s to people in there from college, that were 18, 19, black, white. Some people even brought their kids. The kids were going crazy,
dope.
little 6-year-olds.
To the city winery?
To the city winery. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's an all age venue.
Yeah, we didn't know that, but it was cool though. Like they were like screaming because we had kind of like the cartoon pixels. We had what do you call it?
Our pixel,
the big
logo.
screen playing and all that, the visuals playing and the lights going. So it was fun.
Yeah, but we find that a lot of the older folks like it because it's kind of reminiscent of of course what they grew up on, and then the kids are liking it just because it's another side of music, and kids are always wanting they're always wanting to experiment with different things, and it's different, it's not the same as the regular stuff that comes on the radio. So it's just that mixture. It's crazy that's exactly what we set out to do, and that's what's happening right now in front of our eyes, and it's like it's pretty cool. It's really cool.
That's dope. Yeah. For you guys, do you think, again, like your audience is some of everybody, but do you feel like it's kind of an underlying mission to be black and doing black music from the 80s as opposed to being
well I did come from rock, so I'm a connoisseur of art and music.
Okay,
so I would really like to. I loved what I saw back in, and this might be cheesy, but back in the day when Motown was going on. And you look at some of those old videos of how it literally smashed a lot of racism. People of every color came together and just was rocking together, and it was love. You know what I mean? So I was a fan of Patrice Rushen, and all of those greats. And Earth, Wind and Fire, and all of those. But and of course Rick James. But also, I was also a fan of Led Zeppelin and Billy Idol, and so we still will probably in the future do like some new wave stuff as well. So we're not really locked in to just the urban side.
Okay.
But we do definitely want to reintroduce that. That's our first main goal, is to say, hey, I look like you can do this too.
Nice.
Put a band together,
Yeah. Definitely. I thought it was dope that from looking at the videos, obviously it's very much tech driven but also music driven. So how did you guys end up hooking up with native instruments?
The videos, they saw it on Instagram and reached out to us, and the rest was history from there. And it was really cool because they reposted the video first before they reached out. They reposted our remake of Evelyn Champagne King. That remake, they reposted that, which really helped grow our fan base. Like,
I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, it really helped. And they reached out to us after that, and they was like, what are you guys planning on doing as far as career wise and this and that and the other? And we just had a real long conversation, and they was like, hey, well, we want to send you guys some stuff, and let's keep this going. Let's keep this relationship going. So the rest was history. Yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
That's pretty dope. You had mentioned some collaborations earlier, and I don't know how much y'all can talk about, but can you kind of speak on some of the things you're working on?
Yeah. Well, we already mentioned Zap Band. So there's this guy out in New York called Alex Frankel. He's actually part of another
major group called Holy Ghost.
Yeah, major group called Holy Ghost. They do a lot of 80s, post rock, new wave type of stuff. But they wanted to start, getting involved with, seeing what we're doing. And he started following us a while, which is crazy because we were a huge fan of what they were doing, and
so we're collabing with them.
Yeah,
Treasure Fingers is another big house DJ and electro artist. Zap Band.
We got a house DJ out of Australia that does some pretty big festivals out there. He's also on the list as well. Who else we got?
Evelyn Champagne King's husband reached out to us about production. So
that might be crazy.
Yeah. She's actually thinking about coming out with a new project. So that would be cool, because she loved what we did with the song, and she was like, "Yeah, this is what I need." So that's
I saw that you guys have a couple shows coming up in LA. Anything else on the horizon?
Well, our agency, they're working on our calendar for November to do like a whole West Coast tour from all the way from Seattle to Oakland.
Yeah.
So everywhere in between.
Yeah, we got some possible Canada dates coming up. New Orleans, we got a possible date for opening it up. We're actually going to be doing the pregame show for the Saints.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's going to be November 19th, I believe. So that's awesome.
Private party for Georgia Lottery, August 3rd.
Yeah.
So that's coming up pretty soon.
Y'all got a lot of stuff on there.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. I need to start bringing like a list.
I know, right?
Everything we're doing, because there's more collaborations, but I just can't think of everything. Right?
Yeah, we're just chopping it on down.
Yeah.
Hey man, nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, definitely.
The album, man, Electrik Funk, like, how have people been receiving it? Because I know a lot of y'all fans were waiting on it. So now it came out July 19th, right?
Yeah.
So thus far, it's only been a little bit, but how has it been received, and what's some of the feedback you've been getting?
They love it, man.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. They was like, man, I want some more. I want more. It's a lot of people that
submitting videos, hula hoop videos, and dance videos from Japan.
A great sign.
Yeah, Japan, Spain, dance videos. So it's
there's
pretty
a dance
cool.
group out in Spain that's shooting a video. They're gonna shoot like a professional video to Sweet Surrender, which is the first song off the album. So I'm like, I really can't wait for that. But yeah, there's been a lot of people submitting videos, whatever they
remixes
feel like doing, because that's what we always try to encourage. We got this saying where we say "stay funky" all the time, and that's basically means just to stay yourself, or whatever your creative outlet is. Do that. You know what I'm saying, and just be free. And that's what really funk means to us. It's just that freedom of expression. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of our fans. It's crazy that we don't directly communicate that, but they see it and they
pick
get
it up,
and they feel they feel that, and they communicate that back to us, and that's what we love about. That's what really inspires us to just keep going.
Yeah, they pick up the love, and that was definitely what we wanted to put out there is love and positivity.
Yeah,
because there's not enough of that out there. So we thought like just some feel good music, just people just worrying about partying, and kicking it together. Yeah. And it is amazing that they, every now and then somebody will say, "You guys really, exude love," and that's our goal, really. We actually had a fan recently say, "What did he say?" He said, "You guys don't have to pretend like you're happy, and this is this is really lame or something." We were like, "Okay, right on."
Well, I mean, that's that comes with the territory. Yeah. The bigger you get, there's gonna be more people that's like,
"Oh
yeah,
okay, like
on some crazy stuff."
Are they really married?
This is not possible.
Are they really this happy?
Yeah.
This and that, or so that comes with the territory, But but overall, people have been really loving the project. Because it's a lot of mixtures. It's not just soul electric funk on the album. We have a little bit of house. We have a little bit of jazz. It's a little mixture of everything that inspired us. And that's people, they really seem to be liking it. So. According to our analytics, which I'm a geek, I'm a geek, so I check that type of stuff. most of the people that have been listening to the album have been in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
not
not
really
surprised.
surprising.
I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
it's not. Yeah, it's not surprising at all. But the fact that they're aware of the APX project and they're aware of the movement is just really just.
And I'm sure the pixelated logo doesn't
Yeah.
at all.
Right. We didn't think about that, but
Yeah,
now we're like,
yeah.
you know what? That's very,
Right.
yeah,
yeah.
Y'all gotta
Japanese of us.
Y'all got to do an animated video for one of the songs.
Oh yeah.
We-
Well, we
we-
got them moving now. They already are moving.
Yeah,
It's
we
part
got-
of our visuals.
We
Yeah.
got the heads. We got the heads bopping now.
Yeah.
Now we just need to get the whole bodies to move and get the keys being pressed and whatever. Yeah. It's some stuff in the works.
Nice.
that we got,
Yeah.
What are y'all, each of you, your favorite male-female duo?
Renee and Angela.
I'd have to say Yarbrough and Peoples. Yeah, because I've listened to their stuff like extensively, and they had some stuff. Like they really had some, especially her voice. Like her voice was just, is like especially nowadays you don't really hear that tone anymore coming from the newer artists, and that's what one of the things I just like fell in love with about Erica is that her tone and her versatility just kind of really reminded me about that essence of feeling that vocalists had
funky
back
soul.
that funky soul that they had back in the day. But Yarbrough and Peoples is definitely like one of my biggest inspiration when it comes to a lot of that stuff. Their stuff was funky. It was funky.
Mm-hmm.
You took me back with Renee and Angela too.
Yeah.
Both of them choices.
Yeah.
Good choices. That's the beauty of having a record store in your phone.
Okay.
You can
yeah.
essentially listen to
everything, and then YouTube, you get into that video because, like, even the passion, like the way they would be in the video, like they didn't care.
Their live
You know
videos.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, what do they have on?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, like I'm gonna tell you, and people crack up and make fun of me every single time when they say, "Who inspired you to really be an artist?" And you know who I say? Rick James. When I seen him with blonde, glittery braids and a skin tight suit on, shiny suit, playing that guitar with some long red boots and was like, didn't even care. I was like, you know what? I want to do that. And that was just like so freeing to see those type of artists. It was just beautiful. Everybody was themselves to the extreme.
Yeah.
And I just want that to happen again. That would be
Buffalo's finest.
Yes.
Rick James.
Yes. Yeah.
Most definitely. So we already talked about the dates. What's next for you guys as far as content or anything you have planned that your fans will be looking forward to?
Deluxe album.
Yeah, we got the deluxe album. We got more remixes coming out. More remix videos.
When's the deluxe album out, babe?
December.
And
We don't have a date. We don't have a date yet, but it's going to be in December this year.
And
Yeah.
that's y'all doing just digital, or you?
No, that's gonna be vinyl.
Everything.
It's gonna be cassette tape. It's gonna be CDs. However you need it.
Cassette tapes are really making a comeback. I
Yeah,
think I saw
gonna-
somebody post that Jay-Z did a tape for 444.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was real, but I definitely saw it posted.
There's a lot of artists doing the cassette tapes again.
Where are they making cassette tape players?
I don't know.
Well, in Spain, like who's doing it for us is a label in Spain.
Okay.
So they're
They're
still
called
all about
Sleepers.
it apparently out there in Spain.
Yeah, they're called the Sleepers Records, and they're helping us out with that project. Cause it's we're indie, so that vinyl process is real expensive.
Yeah.
Everybody been asking like, when you gonna release something on vinyl? Like, I don't know. We gotta see who gonna.
You got $100 to pay for the vinyl?
Exactly.
Or vinyl? No.
You got $4,000. Right. But so that's next. More remixes, more collabs, and more videos. We're gonna be on 11 Live next month.
Okay,
At,
and that's the
performing.
what is that? NBC.
It's the NBC
NBC affiliate here in Atlanta.
Atlanta and Company. So we're gonna be on that
Nice.
next month. And
The 10th.
well, I don't know if it's gonna be live, but we're filming on the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's gonna be live though.
We'll keep you updated.
All right. Cool. Yeah, man. I definitely like what you guys are doing. I think this is something that could take off for you. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, definitely talented. The music is definitely music you can just put on and let it play.
Just ride to, yeah.
Thank you. That's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Most definitely. All right, man. We appreciate y'all coming through. Please let people know where they can find you, and more importantly, where they can download or stream the album legally.
That's right. Put that in there.
The APX Music, TheAPXmusic.com. Do not forget to put the, because you won't find us. It's got to be, you got to have the APXmusic.com. And we have a link to our album on there, the homepage. If you want to sign up for our email list, you can do that. If you want to purchase some merchandise, you can do it right from the site. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, everything is like the same. So
the APX Music.
The APX Music. We make it real easy for everybody. So
yes.
If you want to follow us on Twitter or Instagram at the APX Music, don't forget to put the, and you'll find us. If you want to Google us too, you can Google us, and then everything will pop up. Our schedule, Pandora, Spotify, the APX Music.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt.
You'll find us.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming through. We appreciate y'all out there in the world for listening.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you follow us on Day One Radio. That is DAY, the number 1 radio. And also follow us on Hip Hop Trivia ATL. We will be in a city near you very, very soon.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week with another dope show.
Peace.
Peace.
WABL. New rules, new music. Download the app or stream on ablradio.com.
DJ Wally Sparks.